Greetings, YouTube. I did a project where I had the upper windows of my house replaced with impact glass. It's like a heavy 9/16 inch glass, so I don't have to put shutters up there each time a storm comes. They're very difficult and shutters are heavy, so glass has been replaced and all I had to do was paint it. They basically put the glass in and reframed on the inside of the existing frame with cedar. So problem is, one of the windows right up here, as I was painting it, I discovered a huge amount of wood rot right in this corner. So rather than replace the whole frame, which would require me to remove those windows and rebuild the frame, I thought I'd come up with an easier solution which would save a lot of money. So here we go. So what I decided to do was scrape out all of the dry rot, dried it with a heat gun, and then treated it with this rotted wood stabilizer, which you see it's from Elmer's. It looks like Elmer's glue. It smells like Elmer's glue. I probably just bought a $10 bottle of Elmer's glue. Anyway, I followed the instructions, saturated all of the rotted wood that I couldn't get off, the fibrous kind of material, with this, gooped it on there until it wouldn't soak in anymore, and then let it dry for 24 hours. That gave us a hard surface so that when we do apply the Bondo, it'll stick. Then I went to Lowe's, bought a bunch of these aluminum thin flashing material, and I decided that this is a good inexpensive material to form the wood, and I'll show you what I did with that in a second. So for the form, I simply cut this into flat pieces and then took a staple gun and stapled right through it into the good wood, whether it was on the bottom or on the side, wherever I could find a good piece. And the idea was to build walls so that when I poured in the Bondo, it would be able to take the shape of a piece of wood. I just want to throw in that at Lowe's these were like 40 cents each, so I got a bunch of them. I cut them with tin snips, and it's pretty thin, pretty easy to work with. Okay, so the form is done. I lubed it up so the Bondo won't stick. You can see it's not the neatest job in the world, but it's going to be perfect for what I'm looking to do. And next step is mix up the Bondo and start filling that gap. Here's what I'm using. Picked it up at Lowe's. It was $22. Though I've never done this before, looks pretty easy. I read the instructions. I'm pretty much gonna open it up, squeeze in some hardener, mix it up, and then I'm gonna go apply it, which I'm not gonna video because it's too hard to climb up there and video at the same time. There's what the putty looks like. Take a scoop of it, drop it in here. Another scoop. That's probably going to do it for this job. Maybe a third of the container, and now I'm going to squeeze in a third of this hardener container. Not looking for perfection. That should do it. And we're going to just work it in until it's till it's even, and then we should be good to go. Okay, after getting some of that stuff on my hands, I remember how much I hate getting that stuff on my hands, so washed it off and put on some disposable gloves. I'm gonna go fill in the form, and then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Well, that stuff hardens really fast. I actually had a tough time with it, but here's what it looks like now. It's pretty rough. There's still some holes. There's still a gap in the corner, which is very hard to see where it didn't make its way in there. I'm going to make another batch now and use much less hardener. We're going to keep it really soft so it'll stay pliable, and then I'm going to fill in these holes there, and then work that corner down there and fill that in as well. So I applied the lighter mixture to it, smoothed it out a little bit. Still kind of rough, but we can fix that. And again, I'm not looking for perfection. It seems to be dry, so I'm going to tear these off. Actually, I'll be right back. Get some gloves before I do that. Those edges are pretty jaggedy, as you can see. So it pretty much did the job. I've taken the forms away. The hole's now completely filled in. I do see a pinhole around here, and I'll fix that. I'll probably just use some of the leftover Bondo, stick it in that hole, and I'll smooth this out. But that's pretty darn good. Once this is smoothed out a little bit and painted, nobody's going to notice. There's a little hole that needs to be, it's like a divot, needs to be fixed a little bit. And I'm going to give this a little more time to set. I only just did it a few minutes ago, and I'll smooth it out as best I can. Again, not looking for perfection. And then I'll prime it and paint it, show you what it looks like when it's done. So I took a grinder to it, grinded it down, smoothed it out reasonably. Still a mess. I know a lot of you guys are going to complain, but hey, this isn't my thing. I'm not a carpenter. Just a do-it-yourselfer. Smoothed it out at the bottom, and now I'm going to whip up another batch, fill in that hole right there, smooth it out one more time, grind it, and paint it. All done, all through, painted. Not perfect, but it's cedar, it's rough, and it's watertight and solid.